Here.
Hello, friends. It's Miss Emma.
You have a decision to make, Daisy. You have a decision to make. Which of these two books shall we read? Which one? Shall we read this one? Or shall we read this one? Look! Elephant!
O, E, T. Elephant. O, E,
Yes!
Elephant. 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 Elephant.
Elephant.
Elephants. Oh, that's a baby elephant. They noisy. It sounds like they're blowing a trumpet.
He was too big. I sent him back. What's next, Daisy? What's next? So they sent me I think we can guess what this is. Giraffe. Or do you say giraffe? Do you say giraffe, Daisy? Or do you say giraffe? I think I might say giraffe. A few things we're thinking about when we're playing, talking about the differences with animals, but do they know which is the elephant? Okay, if they know that this is an elephant, they know how to say the word, or they know when you say the word, if they can't pronounce the word, or they're non-verbal, do they know when you say elephant that this is an elephant? Okay, because that word elephant is going to mean far more if they know what an elephant is. So we've got to have meaning, but the speech sound monsters are such a breakthrough because they can see the sound. Obviously you can't see a sound is something we hear, but they can see a representation for a sound that has got nothing to do with the letters until it's in a word. So this is what I mean. They can see the representation for the sound. Monster says monster says monster says monster says the schwa says the monster says and here's monster t. So if we follow the monster sounds, elephant. So that's just the phonemic awareness, hearing those sounds in that order, knowing that that is the word elephant and what it is. So that's just the sounds. We're making the sounds visible to children. The picture of the sound in this word is this one. The picture of the sound o in this word is this one. The picture of the sound I in this word is this one. Elephant. So here it's quite a long word, so we've got to be able to not only look at the sounds. So if you're doing the sounds just without looking at anything, just phonemic awareness without looking at anything, it also relies on remembering those sounds, holding on to them to blend. So it relies on phonemic awareness to blend and also working memory, because you've got to remember all of those sounds in that order to put them back together again. So this is brilliant because it shows the representations of the sounds, but then we can show the representations for the sounds on paper, the sound pictures, just here. And children as young as 2 understand the sound here, on this here, the sound is I, here the sound is even though they look the same. Because like I said at the beginning, graphemes, sound pictures, don't represent anything until they're in a word. So all of this comes together so nicely by making those sounds visible, by thinking about pictures of sounds and thinking about the pictures of the sounds being relevant to the word. And what is that word? Do we understand it? That is code mapping and monster mapping. As children move on from this orthographic awareness, if you like, here's our speech sound monster bank. So every sound, like the monster only says s, but the pictures of the sound is going to vary depending on the word. So when we're doing it on the board, we need not just the sound, but also the picture for that particular word. So we're exploring English orthography. But when, for example, a child sees, there's monster and we saw that at the beginning of the word elephant. We also saw the E as a representation for the I. Here, what's the example word? Like in the word enough. High frequency word that have a look at. So all of this comes together, it all makes sense, it's all mathematical, and it's mathematical. The mapping is what is so exciting, especially to children who think like that, who may think differently to neurotypical children, but more importantly, neurotypical adults. Let me show you what an adult would do who is neurotypical and doesn't really understand in depth the reading brain. Say somebody has been watching what I've been doing for the last 10 years or so, and they think, oh, I'll put a little counter or something there to show the child what the representation is. But they don't do it as an alternative to a phonetic symbol. A phonetic symbol just represents the sound. They do it as if the child can already read and has good phonemic awareness and working memory. So what they'll do is they'll put an elephant or something because they want the child to think, oh, elephant, that must be the e. And they might put an insect or something, or an, I don't know, what do people do for igloo, all sorts of stuff. So they might put an insect or an igloo or something there so that the child sees an elephant and an igloo there. What does that, and that's your sort of basic print to speak phonics, because it only it doesn't actually explore all of English orthography, it just does the very basics and the sort of hopes that kickstart is going to be enough, but it's not, as we see in the UK, where children pass their basic phonics screener but then they can't read. That's over 1 in 4 children in the UK using systematic synthetic phonics every single day and being tested can't read by the time they leave primary school. So here, if the child has to look at this and think of an insect or an igloo or whatever, what do they have to do? They have to look at that and think, I. They've got to realise that E is not the one that they usually see, which is the I. But they've also got to have phonemic awareness, because they've got to know that an igloo, igloo or insect, insect, that the I is the representation of the first sound in that word that happens to be an I. So what the child will do is they'll look at this and it will be totally confusing to them because they want to see an I because they've been taught insect, I. So it's just going to be really confusing. So yes, so they confuse the heck out of at least 20 to 30% of children, whereas we can do it so simply. We've got a spelling code, a universal spelling code. It's called the IPA. Children aren't going to use the IPA because it looks like letters and it's not interesting. So we have the speech sound monsters who just say a sound. They all have an English sound. They are one pocket for each English sound. Each has their own monster, monster air. And here are all of the representations for air. So if you're looking at that and thinking, hold on, why is it AI? Isn't that A? Well, it depends on the word. So if you're teaching children to look at that and go A and not realise that that could also be an E, then don't be surprised when the children get really confused and can't read. They can pass the phonics test where they see AY and they're supposed to say A, but not if they see a word with AY and it doesn't represent A. So pocket for a monster, spelling cloud for a monster, showing all the pictures, which means that you're moving from your explicit instruction really, really quickly for the highest number of children into implicit learning, which makes up most of what happens when children learn to read.
Lion.
Good boy.
Lion.
J.
Mummy, but why have that picture like that?
Well, the J monster can have different sound pitches. So in your name, Jake, the J monster has the letter J to represent that sound.
Yeah, but I need some. I don't know. Giraffe.
Giraffe. Giraffe. Giraffe.
Mummy, let me see.
I think this is one more.
Mummy, maybe we didn't do the llama.
Okay, well, you know what? If you do this one here, then Mummy will go through all the ones we've turned over and try and find you llama again. How about that?
Okay.
Okay. You know what? I can see it here. So which one do you want to do first?
Maybe that one.
Okay.
But that one's the best one.
Oh, it is. It's got lots of monsters on that one. Okay, what have we got?
And that one. What are you doing?
Because I think you pressed it a few times. Just once. Good boy.
Elephant.
Elephant.
Llama.
Okay, let's
What
get
is
llama.
that?